Morning to my Indian viewers and good evening to all my US viewers. Welcome to the webinar on Career Talk for Students. I am Dr. Udit Chawla, Project Manager, IISER Bhopal. And I would like to introduce Dr. Abhijit Patra, Dean, Alumni and International Relations, and Associate Professor, Department of Chemistry, IISER Bhopal, and Dr. Amjad Hussain, CEO, ICE, to further brief us about the institute and the speaker. Dr. Patra, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Chawla, and thank you to our guest speaker, Dr. Livera, for your presence for this talk. And I welcome all of you, and good morning to all our students. And it's a pleasure to have this talk here. And in the Institute Career Development and Placement Council, ICDPC, we generally try to help our students to get different placement opportunities and also help them to acquire the soft skills which is required for the job in not only in the academic sector, also in the industry, so that they can have a harmonious growth and get a holistic view of education apart from their regular stream, science or engineering stream. If they can also those soft skills and communications, speech and every aspects, so that we can provide them after their 5 years BSMS or integrated PhD or PhD program, they can get a complete holistic view of educations and find their job. So that's the motto of this placement council, and I really thank Amjad, Arshi, and all the ICE and ICDPC representative, as well as the students representative from SDC, for coordinating and arranging this talk. Thank you once again, Dr. Livera. We are very much anxious to listen to you, and now I would like to hand over to Amjad. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Patra, for giving us the brief intro about ICDPC and the activities. As Dr. Patra very rightly mentioned that, these days the popular thing is then, pursuing career in industry as well. And there are a lot of students who are, trying to work very close to industry academia and also like to transition from academic to industrial careers. So with that, we thought that, someone like Dr. Livera would be a good value addition to IISER Bhopal, and she can share her perspective and experience through her journey from academia to industry. I would be very pleased to introduce Dr. Varuni Livera here to the audience. Dr. Livera is currently working as a process manager at Intel United States. As most of you know that Intel Corporation designs, manufacture and sell computer networking and communication platform worldwide. So she has a prolific career journey so far, and she's also associated with Intel for the last 5 to 6 years. Dr. Livera, like most of us, started her career with completing a PhD in inorganic chemistry, and she completed her doctorate at University of Arizona from the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry. She's a multi-talented person with a blend of teaching, research, and industrial experience and expertise. In addition to research, she has immense teaching experience in her home country in Sri Lanka, where she also served as a temporary faculty at the University of Colombo in Sri Lanka, and also supervised and coordinated sophomore inorganic labs. At the University of Arizona Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry, she has expertise in teaching general chemistry and senior level advanced inorganic chemistry courses. She has also received several honors and awards during her professional career, including Graduate and Professional Student Council Travel Grant, Chemistry and Biochemistry Department Outstanding Graduate Student Award for teaching, award for valuable contribution to UA Peer Integrator Program, Distinguished Teaching Assistant Award, and award for outstanding contribution to the teaching program. She has also received 5 divisional awards from Intel Limited, and also multiple other awards for the process implementation, automation, and training and development at the Intel. So I formally welcome Dr. Varuni Livera to all of you and to IISER Bhopal, and would like to introduce her to the audience. Dr. Varuni, please, you're most welcome to start your lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Amjad, for the nice and kind words. And also Dr. Abhijit. It's my pleasure and honor to be here and talking to all of you today and share my experience with all of you. Let me share my screen and talk about the transformation from lab to industry and shaping up your career. So today's talk, the outline will be what is right for you. That is like number one thing, and then get yourself prepared for this transition in the industry. Then what you need to look into when you're doing this transition, and how you are going to get used to working in industry, and what differences you will see in the industry. Then I will be talking about a few models for the career progression in industry or in general, like how you wanted to shape up your career, what resources are out there, sort of thing. So before we move on for anything, all right. What is right for you? So ultimately, this choice is up to you to decide whether you wanted to be in the academia or whether you wanted to be in the industry. So before you make that decision, here are some tips that you can consider. So first thing is that you need to determine your priorities. So what is more important to you is what this means. So is it like money? Is it intellectual freedom? Is it like the flexibility? Or like, what your priority is, what you needed to know. And then think about how you want to spend your time, because this is really important. This will be like that, how you are going to spend time day to day. So you have to like really think about this factor. And then know your strengths. So when I meant like the strengths, that means what is you're really good at doing. So you wanted to like understand where your strengths are before you are going to pick this option, whether you want to work in the academia or whether you want to go to industry. And then factor in your personality. It is like whether you wanted to like work independently or whether you wanted to like work in a team. So you really wanted to understand where your personality fits in. Then think long term and keep your option open. So when you're selecting something that you're going to do, make sure that you're going to like see yourself in like next 5 years, 10 years, or like 20 years. And then, make the choice based on that long-term goal. And the most important one is like be true to yourself. So you have to like understand what you're passionate about. And then go on that path regardless of all of these other factors. This is like the most important thing. So then how you are going to get yourself prepared to work in the industry? So when you are working in the industry or any job, the first thing that is coming into the play is the skill set. So your skills can be like categorized into 3 groups. So the first one I'm defining is the technical academic. So these skills will be like the very specific skills that you're going to learn during your academic program. It will be some unique skill set for maybe for your research project, maybe for the specialized equipment that you're working on. So these technical academic skills might not have that much of use when you go to industry or any other job. So the technical applicable skills are the next skill set, which means these skills will be useful elsewhere, like problem solving, like programming sort of skills. So the third skill set is like the non-technical applicable. So these are kind of like management skill, collaboration skill, communication skill. So non-technical applicable is like commonly known as soft skills. So soft skills are usually, it is kind of like, as I am defining here, combination of your personal traits and behaviors. So this is really, really important when you're looking for a job. So there's like 3 soft skills that has like a high demand in today's workplace, which I'm listing here, like the leadership, teamwork, communication skills, problem solving, work ethic, flexibility, and interpersonal skills. So when you're in a very talented group of people, so everyone got their talents or the technical skills. So if you have like these soft skills, that's when you can like outstand. So when you're like, studying, or when you're doing like a project, or even like doing a part-time job, a hobby, so think about a way that how you can, improve these soft skills. You can be a part of an organization. You can just do a hobby to demonstrate like these soft skills without you knowing that you can develop these skills during your whatever you're doing. And to be honest, in today's industry, sometimes most of the interviewers, most of the companies, they actually pay more attention to these soft skills than the technical skills, because the technical skills is something that they can train you on, but the soft skills is kind of like, hard for them to train you on. It is something that needs to come up with your personality traits and the behaviors. So make sure you prioritize these skills. These are like very, very important. And I would say the number 1 skill set when you're looking for an industry job. So then the next point I'm telling you is spend less time thinking and more time doing. You really have to get yourself used to this, because in industry, time is actually money and time is limited. So you really have to make yourself in a way that you will spend less time thinking, but more time doing. Because every time when you're working in the industry, you have like deadlines, you have different goals that you need to meet. So this is like really important, and you really have to like, focus on this point. And then network within and outside your discipline. Because if you're in the academic sector, most of the times you really, get feedback or get, advice from your advisor, or maybe like the same group of friends that is in your research group or in your department. So you have to like step out and go, maybe like even start from like the other departments within the same university, or even like, other universities, or like a different organization. So make sure you know network within and outside. And also like today, this is like very easy to do with like, lot of like networking platforms we have available on internet. This is like really good. And make sure you participate in virtual meetups, career workshops. I mean, like the LinkedIn, Glassdoor, so those sort of platforms. Get a maximum use out of those. And then another thing is like learn technologies or the skills that have like cross applicability. So like for an example, like Python, SQL sort of things that you can use anywhere with any job role. So make sure you develop a skill set that have like this cross applicability. Then this one is like also important, simplify your science and work. So you have to like keep in mind that the rest of the world will not understand what you're doing or your scientific terms, or like, so you really have to like simplify it for them. If you want to be like a good communicator, you really have to do this. So it's like there's an abbreviation that came from US Navy saying like KISS. It's like keep it simple, stupid. Basically, don't complicate it. And then advertise and market yourself. So this is like kind of like really hard, and a lot of us have like, problems doing this, and it is always a challenge. But do not hesitate to self-promote. So always have this thing, I can and I will. So have that attitude and don't hesitate to advertise or market yourself in the right way. So then the next step, when you're going to industry, it doesn't matter how much of your accomplishment you have gained. You kind of have to shine on the paper, because that is something like the interviewers will look into. So make sure your resume is like good one. Make sure you review it with someone who's knowledgeable, someone who might work in the same area you wanted to go to. So make sure to shine on that paper. And always maybe like use like the active past tense verbs, which implement that you have achieved some results, sort of thing. So this resume writing is like a whole nother area. So there's like a lot of like resources available online for this. So go to those, read the different resume tips, learn, and then maybe like, ask for a resume from someone who's doing a job in the industry. So get some tips and make sure to shine on that paper, because that is really important. And then finally, you have to be polished in person. So that means if you're going for an interview, I mean, these days, if it is like a virtual interview, you still have to be like, present yourself in a manner that is, I mean, you have to ensure you're confident to do this job and you're confident on explaining your skills, hard or soft. And most of the times during the industry interviews, they will like, present you some what they call curveball interview scenarios, like what I'm listing here. These things are basically to test you on your soft skills and to see how you're responding. So this is like really important. And also another tip I would say is, if you're in a job interview or if you're even looking for like any other position, right? So don't discuss other options with the interviewers, because that will add like a negative image on you. Then I would like to bring this 10 simple rules for the right job. This is actually an article from Dr. Kwan, and he actually has like a 10 simple rules series for different things. So this one is like for if you are selecting a right job. So the 10 things that you have to consider. So know your values, goals, and priorities is number one. Then talk to everyone and see the possibilities. That means just don't limit yourself to your advisor. Just like, talk to everyone. Go talk to your career development section. Go talk to like, other professors. And basically like have that information coming to you. And then not just that, you have to do your own homework. It is like gathering the data. So what this means is there's like a lot of like the job, posting sites like LinkedIn, maybe like Glassdoor. So those things have like the most, relevant job postings and the reviews from the employees. So go read those and get an idea about the companies, get an idea about like the job postings and see what they are looking for. So this is like needs to be your homework. And then conduct mini experiments to try it out. So what this means is maybe you can go for a mock interview, or like, you can do an internship. Even if you're in the academic sector, go work in a different lab, ask for work in a different project. So always try out. You would not know until you do it. And then sympathize with your future self. So always see, if I like select this job, or if I am going in this path, how my future will look like. So always like try to think that as a factor. So this whole phase is kind of, Dr. Kern is referring to the exploration phase. So once your exploration, explore these 5 things, then it's come to the decision phase. So in the decision phase, it says evaluate the fit. So that means make sure your talent and passion, whether they are meeting the organizational needs. Is it like the right place for you to work? So evaluate that fit. And get along with the 5 people around you. So what this means is getting to know the team you're going to work with. So if you're especially, most of the companies well, before COVID, they will ask you to come for an on-site interview. Even now, they will have it virtually. So this is your chance to get to know the people who's going to work in your team. Most of the time, it will be like the same team that who's planning to hire you, right? So pay attention, like get a vibe of the team spirit, get a vibe of their personalities. So make sure like you are going to work with like a nice team, because your work environment can be really hostile if you have to work with the people that you dislike. So don't let that happen to you. And plan out the dates for the transitions. So this is also very important, because when you're in the college, well, your university is going to define the dates for you. So it is easy. You know the deadlines from your university. But when you're planning out the dates, well, it is up to you to decide when you need to do this transition. Especially if you're doing like a location change, you have to like think about the relocation. If you're planning on coming abroad, you have to deal with all sort of like, immigration things. And also maybe if you're planning on moving with your family, right? So you have to like plan out all of those things, and you have to like include this as a factor too. And then most of the people don't prioritize this thing, but do not forget about the location. So the location and location 3 times. So this means it is really important, because this is where you're going to spend your life. So you don't want to be miserable. You want to like live in a nice place that you will enjoy. So give the priority to the location. So that is the decision phase. And after that, it will come to the fulfillment phase, which means you will settle in. And then don't expect that you can contribute right after you join a job. It will take some time, because when you're new, you have to like, get trained, know what you're doing. So it will take some time. And then keep learning, because this is never going to stop. Even after 5 years, 10 years, you will be still learning. So this is going to keep continuing like that. So I would highly recommend like this article. It is really nicely written. And yeah, so these 10 simple rules that you have to like, think about when you're trying to go for a job and trying to select what is the right job for you. And then when you're going to the industry, how you are going to get used to it. So I don't want to lie, it is going to be tough when you started, because everything will be new to you. It will be new environment, new people, new location maybe. So be prepared for that change. Do expect that change coming. And also do not hesitate to ask for help and really be honest. So it is really important for you to know what you know, and also for you to know what you don't know. Well, for you to know what you don't know is more important, because that is where you need the help. That is where you need to like, build up your expertise. So then I'm going to present you like 5 ideas to survive and thrive in your job. So the first one, what I'm calling is awesome idea number 1. When you're new, observe, and observe some more. So please listen to your maybe like the senior folks in the job, your boss. So when you observe and when you pay attention, that's when you can ask questions and understand what is important and understand your job role. So this is like awesome idea number 1 when you go to a new job. Then the second brilliant idea number 2 is be likable and approachable. Because if you are not like a people's person, or if you're like, if you hate people, right, that is not going to work in the industry, because most of the time you have to work as a team, and you have to learn how to manage your emotions, and you have to like spend some time getting to know your colleagues, and you have to like, be pleasant all the time. So this is really important. So be likable and approachable is the brilliant idea number 2. And grand idea number 3 is be open and honest in accepting your mistakes. So when you're doing something really new that you have never done, you will make mistakes. But it is okay to make mistakes. As human beings, we all make mistakes. But when you make a mistake in the industry, what you have to do is take the ownership, and you can just take the ownership. You have to go to that extra step, create the solution, make sure that you are not going to repeat it. So don't repeat the same mistake again and again and again. So put the solutions in, build this expertise, and make sure you're going to be, accepting it and not going to do it again, sort of thing. And splendid idea number 4 is be self-aware. So you will get used to this job, but you always have to assess yourself and see where you are right now. Are you meeting like the goals that they set up for you? And just make sure that you have completed like the training, or are you like capable of doing what you are asked to do, sort of thing. So always be self-aware. Then here comes like the impressive idea number 5 is be a lifelong learner, because it doesn't matter you're in the academic or the industry, your learning experience, it's gonna continue. So you need to build that knowledge and talent. Even in the industry, everything is keep changing. It's like, in the next month, you will have something new, a whole new system. It's like rapidly changing with like the technology and the market evolving. Everything is like very dynamic. So you have to like be a lifelong learner. So what differences that you will see in the industry? So the first thing is like the responsibility, because if you're working in like academics, or if you're working in your own project, you will only be responsible for that project. But in the industry, it's not like that. Most of the time, you will be responsible for just a part of like a big thing. You're only like doing like small thing. But when it comes to the responsibility, that small thing that you are asked to do, consider it as your business. Give it like the priority. Take the responsibility. Even if it is like a small task, make sure, have the attitude, thinking that it is my business. I'm going to be responsible for this part, sort of thing. And then in the collaboration is very, very important in the industry, because you have to be like a great team player if you're in the industry. As I'm showing in the meme here, it's like the teamwork makes the dream work. That is very true. Because most of the time, most of the work that we are doing in the industry, it's actually collaborative work. And then the workplace culture is like another important factor, because when you're in the school, you're probably like dealing with like the same age group of people, right? But when you're in the industry, you have to like deal with different age groups. And also there will be really diverse team working. So diversity and the inclusion is highly valued in industry. So make sure like you pay attention and respect to those. And then career advancement. So in the industry, there will be like a lot more opportunities for the career advancement. You can have like all sort of like lateral movements within industry. So those are like some differences that you will see when you go to industry in a good way. So this next one is a model that you can use to pick your career best. So regardless if you're in the academics, regardless if you're even, even now, when you're doing like your project, this is kind of like important. So there's 3 things in this, what we call top model: talent, passion, and the organization. If all of these 3 things get intercepts, and if you're in that sweet spot, well, you are in your career's best. But it is really hard for you to go to that, career's best. Sometimes, as I'm showing in the left-hand side, your passion, that means your interest, matches with the organizational needs, but you might not have the talent or the skill set to perform that task. That is totally fine. So that's when you need to go and learn that skill set, or like learn those talents. And in the middle, that you have the talents that is matching with your organizational needs. That means you're capable of doing the job, but you might not have the passion for that. If you're in this position, well, you can like look for like something else within the same organization, or even if you can't find anything that you're passionate about, that is the time for you to make a move. Maybe you have to look for a new job. And even maybe you can ask for a new project, or like that is the idea about the second one. So the third one is you have the talents and you have the passion, but none of these two will like matches with the organizational needs. But sometimes the organizations also evolve and they grow and they will have like different needs in the future. So you can stick on and see what is going to happen for some time if that is the case. But if it is not working, well, again, you might have to like find what fits for you to go to these careers best. And here I'm like presenting two mindsets that people have: growth mindset and the fixed mindset. So how it is to have a fixed mindset? So if you're having a fixed mindset, mostly you don't like to have any failures. You don't want to like, take challenges. And you always wanted to look smart and you want to stick to what you know. But what is going to work for you is actually having a growth mindset. So the growth mindset always want to learn something and want to accept the challenges and not afraid to take challenges. So make sure to train yourself to have this growth mindset instead of the fixed mindset. And this one here is like the contribution cycle. This is something I really, really like. So there will be 4 quadrants here, and they will like actually represent different states in your job or in your career. So the first quadrant A is kind of like starting a new job. So, and then quadrant B, it will be the phase that you gain more experience, you're independent of doing your job, and you're really, feeling comfortable doing your job and you're like an expertise at this level. So then you have like other 2 quadrants, quadrant C and quadrant D. So this is the place I would ask you to don't move forward in this quadrant. This is the only place that I will ask you to move backward. Because if you go to that quadrant C, that means like you're losing the interest by, doing the same thing again and again and again. Even in the industry, if your job is like doing the same thing again and again and again, that is when you have to go to your boss and ask for something new, ask for a new project, ask to like, collaborate with some other team, like do something else. So never fall on this C or D category, right? The sweetest spot for you to be is like between quadrant A and B. That means you're kind of like expertise in your thing, but you will always go back to learn something new. And then you'll get in the expertise, move back and learn something new. So always maintain your career between A and B. And then here is like 5 common career orientations that we see. It's like different people want different things from their career. So some people would like to have advancement. Some people like to have security. Some people always want a challenge. Some people would like to have their freedom, and some people want their balance. So you might want like maybe like a combination of these things, right? So get each of these factors and see which category you fit into. Would you always want advancement? Would you always need the job security? Are you always looking for a challenge or like a freedom, or you want like that balance? So it is up to you, and it is only like which category you will fit into. You can just like, write down your strengths and weaknesses and see which category you fit into. And if you wanted to be in certain category, understand what strengths needed for that category and what weaknesses you have, what you have to like, develop. Because if you're focusing on just one type of career orientation out of these 5, you might probably have blind spots that you will not know that you are doing something wrong that can, badly impact your career. So make sure you pick what you want and make sure you know your strengths and your weaknesses, and make sure to come out from those weaknesses. And then the career development. Well, most of the times people will think it is up to your boss to give you like, the chance to progress in your career. Well, that is like totally wrong. You own your career because you're the person most invested in your future. Nobody cares. Okay. You own yourself. So you have to lead this process. So you have to have those frequent conversation with your boss, ask for like the real-time feedback, and focus on the challenge, growth, strengths. And also the most important thing, don't sit back and wait for the opportunity. That is like a no. Start with what is possible now. That is really important. If you like sit back and wait, those things will sometimes never come to you, right? So start with what is possible now. That is really important. And also, if you're playing like the managerial role, you also wanted to ask your employee, like, what they want, and help as much as you can, and coach them, support them, and make sure to support that career progression of your employee as well. And as an employee, you can expect those things coming from your boss, but again, don't forget that you need to lead your career progression. And then another thing, maybe it's a misconception. A lot of people think a career development opportunity is kind of like changing the job. Well, that is not true. You always don't have to like change your job for you to have a career development opportunity. It can be like a small change that you can do in the current job you're doing. Maybe like you just can't find it. You have to kind of pay attention in order for you to find that. So that small change that you're going to do is going to give you that career development opportunity. It's basically, as I'm telling you here, what you do, how you do it, and why you do it is really important when you are looking for this career development opportunity. And then finding a job in the industry. So this is like lot of people would ask this, but to be honest, you can self-own this in today's world, because there will be a lot of like networking opportunities for you through like the platforms like LinkedIn and Glassdoor sort of things. And the second one is like referrals. In most of the industries, the employees can actually refer the other people. So talk to the people in the industry and ask whether they can do a referral for you. So do that, move when you're looking for a job. And if you're interested in a certain industry, try to find someone who works for that company and check with them whether they can do a referral for you. And also like the career websites, job fairs, company website. This is like another important thing. In most of the company websites, they will post the job openings, right? This is like a great source for you to go and understand what is out there, what they are looking for. Go and read like the job posting and see what is industry is asking from the applicants, what they are looking for, what you have already, what you're missing. So you can like develop yourself and shape up yourself if you know what they are looking for. So in order to do that, don't wait until you graduate. Don't consider this as like a after graduation thing. You have to, if you ask me when I have to start looking for a job, I'm telling you right now. Right now you have to start this. You have to like start like finding the companies, putting down your strengths, putting down your skill set, and look for what you're missing, and how you're going to shape up yourself. So start right now. And cold calling. So what this means is some company website, they might not have any jobs opening available for you, but you can always contact them, email them, and say that show your interest. Hey, I'm interested about this company, and I'm interested in working for your company. I'm interested in this particular job. Is there any like anytime soon? Is there anything coming anytime soon? Sort of thing, right? It is not going to harm you, because sometimes you might feel afraid of making this move. But I'm telling you, don't be. The worst that can happen to you is they might not respond to you. So take that step. And if you're going to go in a more professional way, well, there's like professional recruiters also. You can take that movement too. Some of these professional recruiters, they will help you to, shape up your resume, and they'll give you some tips. They'll basically do some homework for you. But if you're going through a recruiter, remember the top model I told you, that passion and talent sort of thing, that might not meet. So keep that in mind. And then the internships. So if you can get an internship, well, that is really good, because that means you can step into that organization or the company, and you can get to know the work environment, you can get to know the people. Basically, you're opening up the door for you for a future job. So look for internships and look for opportunities. Even if it is in the academic, go and try to collaborate with some other team. Try to go and work on a different project. Ask for a part of that project. So those are like the things that you can, find a job. And specifically find a job in the industry, you can use all of these things. So the next thing I'm telling you is you need to spend some time. You really, really have to. So I like this thing, the Friday for Future. This is actually like a youth-led kind of like a movement for the climate change movement. But I would like to, keep that quote for you, Friday for Future. Maybe like dedicate some time every Friday, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, to think about your career, to do that career development homework, to do your job search, to put down what you want. So I'm like listing some of the things that you can like think of, like, what are the relevant strengths and the weaknesses that you have in your current role, or like what is your career goal, what you have to like have, and then how to make yourself unique. So think about those things and go and find those resources. How does your career development opportunity align with your talents and passion? So focus on that top model and see where you are right now. So again, what I'm telling you is most of us might not spend time on this until you graduate. But don't do that. As I told you, it has to like start right now, and it has to, you have to like spend some time. You really have to spend some time on this. And from this is an example from Intel. So even in the Intel website, you will see when you go to the Intel website, they actually have it very organized in a way based on the different areas. And if you click on each of these areas, they'll tell you what sort of jobs are available, and they will tell you what they're looking for, what that job means. Sometimes that is like another thing, right? So you will not understand what is meant by that job description, right? So as I'm telling you again and again and again, you have to do your homework, get a better idea. Even when you're going to talk to like other people, when you're trying to network with like the professionals, if you already have some knowledge, that they will actually give you some priority, because it is like another like soft skill that they might see in you. And with that, I want to post this for you. So never underestimate yourself. And I'm going to ask you to stay positive, keep learning, and keep trying. And with that, I will like to conclude my talk. And thank you all for listening. And I would happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Dr. Varuni, for giving such a nice talk. So we have a Google form where students have some questions. So one of the questions they are asking is, what's the best time to shift to the industry? You kind of mentioned that you should not wait till the end of your degree, but they're asking that should you wait till after master's or a PhD program? So what's the best time to shift to industry?
So again, it's kind of like a personal choice, right? Because it's like the time commitment. If you're like, you will spend like more time if you decide to do a PhD. But if you have a PhD, when you enter the industry, your progression, that vertical movement, that means like going from one level to the other level, would be so much easy with more qualifications. But if you wanted to like gain more experience, well, then you can like try out like the masters. After masters, obviously you can find a job. But if you're entering a job with a PhD, well, obviously you will have like a high pay at that level. So I would say there's like both pros and cons, but always, having more educational qualification is always a plus. But again, it is like up to you to decide when you wanted to go to that job. Yeah.
So you're muted. You're muted.
Keep your mute.
I'm sorry. I think there is one more question. Students, I think it's a good question. So since you are yourself is from chemistry and moved to Intel, so how easy it is, or what are the challenges one has to face when they change their field, or is it really changing the field, or is it just Intel is working on chemistry aspects as well?
So yeah, so like to be honest, when I joined Intel, I did not have any previous experience working in the industry or working in that particular area. So but this is what I'm going to tell you. When you're doing like a certain degree, as I'm telling you, you're developing skills that you not knowing. Like those are the soft skills that I present to you earlier. Like every degree will add you those values even without you knowing. So you're missing the technical portion, but don't worry. Most of the industries is expecting that they don't expect like most of the employees to come with like bunch of industrial experience, especially if you're like fresh graduates. They'll have you like they will have like training programs for you, and most of the times you just have to like go in there, take the challenge. You have to be really ready to take that challenge for sure, because sometimes if you have a PhD and you go to this job and you don't know nothing, you know nothing about it, right? So you might feel like really you will start like underestimating yourself, but don't be. That is like that is why I said like you really have to be prepared. That's totally fine. That with any degree you already have a skill set that is like that you can't gain from doing anything else sort of thing, right? You already have the skill set. It's just that small technical part you're missing, and there will be like a lot of people in the industry that is be there to help you to gain those.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Livera. Is there any question from faculty, or actually, there is one more question. So, one of the students is asking that since you mentioned about the communication skills is one of the soft skills, what to do, how to enhance your communication with someone if you have trouble understanding what they are saying. In a sense, I think as an international, sometimes we have this issue of accent. So, how to deal with somebody if you cannot just understand how to communicate with that person?
Yeah, so number one thing is like, again, you have to be really honest and let them know that you have difficulty in understanding them, okay? And sometimes like you can even like if you can have like the verbal communication, have that written communication, okay? And also, yeah, it will be like sometimes even even when you're working in the industry or like even like different backgrounds, right? People will have like different accents. Sometimes you are not used to it, right? You will have like difficulties. So you can like let them know that you're having difficulties in understanding them. Usually most of the people, if you're telling them in a polite way, they will not get annoyed with that. But if it is like still troublesome, you really have to do the written communication instead of like that verbal communication. But usually letting them know if we are talking like too quick, ask them to slow down. So it is not offensive. It's just like, that letting them know that you really wanted to have that communication with them, sort of thing.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it kind of helps a lot. So I guess that's all we have for the timing. I would like to thank Dr. Varuni Livera once again, who generously accept the invitation for this career talk and motivate students for shaping their future. It was an excellent talk, and I hope the students might have got some insights from you to shape their careers. Uh, you talked about the skills required for academic to industrial transition, and I think it was awesome. I would also like to thank Dr. Abhijit Patra, Dr. Amjad Hussain, ICDPC, ICE, and IISER Bhopal to organize and participate in this wonderful event. I would also like to thank ICE Innovation Club and all the participants. So without the participation of the audience, no event can be successful. So I honestly would like to also thank all the participants here. And with this, I think it's time to take a break, and hopefully we will see you again in this series of future events. Thank you. Thanks a lot to all of you. Thanks once again, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.